Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Traverse Area Historical Society annual meeting. My name is Stephen Siciliano, and I'm the president of the board of our society. And we have some of our board members here today. Some of them have video and some of them don't, but I just want to recognize them. And I'm sure some will be coming on shortly. Who I see now is Jen Loop, who is our board secretary. Peg Siciliano is one of our board members. Matt Rollo is our board treasurer. And Sharon Jennings is our membership chair. I think I've got everyone as far as board members. Oh, and Jim Warner, who is our past vice president and one of our board members as well. Is there anyone else? I think I've got everyone so far. So we do anticipate additional members as they come on, and we'll welcome them as they come. So again, I want to welcome everyone to the board, to the annual meeting. Thank you very much for coming. We all appreciate your continuing support, particularly in these challenging times. I'm going to share my screen to just give you the overview for our meeting today. And then move on to my report. Well, it was there. Let's see. Bear with me as I search for the agenda. So I've welcomed our board members. And so what we're going to do today is I will give a brief annual report on the state of the society. This will include what programming we've accomplished since our last annual meeting. And then I will provide a financial report, thanks to our treasurer, Matt Rollo. And then we will open it up for a dialogue for members. And I do really hope that that will be full participation from everyone to get your thoughts and ideas as to the society and certainly your questions. And then we will conclude with the election of board of directors. And we're going to use, I hope, the participation site for us to do yeses and nos for the election of board of directors in this virtual format. So again, I want to thank you all for coming today to our annual meeting. We have been working as hard as one can in this situation, putting in countless hours to keep our society operating. And our board members, I really want to say a particular thank you to your board for all the work that they are doing in keeping the society working since the last annual meeting. We are working all hard to meet our mission to protect, preserve, and present the history of the Grand Traverse area. Your society has been active this year in meeting our mission within the confines of our current health crisis. we concluded our calendar year of 2019 with another successful season of programming. Our final program was an extremely well-attended presentation by Peg Siciliano on the history of the Park Place on November the 17th. Peg described the development of the different versions of the Park Place from 1873 through the present. Of course, the Park Place remains an iconic landmark of downtown Traverse City with a rich history. The event, I think, was particularly special because of such a great deal of audience participation, where the members and community members provided stories about working at the Park Place over their lives, and some of them how they had been patrons of the hotel in decades past. The Society held its February monthly program entitled Abraham Lincoln Through the Eyes of Political Cartoonists on February the 16th. This encore presentation was enjoyed by about 20 community members, some high school students, and members of the Traverse Area Historical Society, as well as the Old Mission Peninsula Historical Society, and the Sons of Union Veterans of the Civil War. For those of you who attended, you know that I presented on the challenges and triumphs of the 16th president as he kept the Union together and ended slavery in America. Partnerships are an important part of fulfilling our mission. The board decided to devote as much as 1/2 of our revenues from our cemetery tours to the Oakwood Cemetery. Based on the guidance from our sexton, we decided to contribute to the Sons of the Union Veterans of the Civil War for their outstanding contribution to the preservation and history of the Civil War veterans and family members interred at Oakwood Cemetery. We learned that the Sons of Union Veterans was in the process of seeking to purchase additional headstones for veterans and members of the Grand Army of the Republic, as well as signage for the last Civil War veteran buried in Grand Traverse County. Funding these efforts was an ideal way to support them. We also decided to contribute funding for the important preservation work of cleaning the current Civil War veteran headstones in the cemetery. The two men receiving headstones were William Bond and Robert Bell. The Sons of Union Veterans research identified these as Grand Army of the Republic members. Mr. Bond, it appears, was a member of the United States Colored Troops. The headstones have their names and years of birth and death. Last month, we resumed our monthly programs in a virtual format, just as we are doing today. Our program featured Admiral Jerry Achenbach, the superintendent of the Great Lakes Maritime Academy, who spoke on the history of the first 50 years of the Academy. He shared several documents and photographs from the Northwestern Michigan College's archives, illustrating the establishment of the Academy in 1969 due to the work of both local and state leaders, and then talked about the growth of the Academy in terms of the size of cadet classes and the vessels that have been acquired since that time. 20 members and community members braved the new format. And so I want to share with you that this is the format that we will be using for the foreseeable future. Thanks to the hosting and technological support that we are receiving from the Traverse Area District Library, we are now able to present these programs live to our members through Zoom. What's also special about this is that we will be able to now record all of our programs again through the library. And that is available via YouTube at the site that's called Paddle Not Just Books. That's spelled TADL JUSTBOOKS. If you go to that link, you will be able to begin to get the recordings. And so if you happen to not be able to attend a program when it is being offered, we'll be able to send that link to our members, probably we can do that through an email blast, and then alert people so that they can enjoy our recorded programs as they become available. Finally, we have been, for the last year, working on the preservation of the Hitchcock Goodell Farmhouse Foundation project. This project recognizes the homestead of Traverse City's first school teacher. It's been led by Matt Grollo, our treasurer, with the writing historical assistance of Peg Siciliano, in partnership with Derek Melville of the Traverse City Parks and Recreation Committee and Goodell descendant Gary Wilson. The site has been cleared with the plan to have a sign marker and benches placed there. So what I would like to do, and this is a world premiere of showing this, if I can get there. This is the proposed sign. Can everyone see that? Yes? This is the proposed sign that will be established at the Hitchcock farmstead. It, frankly, is absolutely gorgeous. Of course, it has a picture of our first school teacher, and in addition to some family photographs. And so this is the new signage that is intended to go in the springtime when the snow finally melts away and we're able to establish it. That will be the proposed signage that we will have. So thanks to Matt and Peg and Derek and Gary for their wonderful work on developing this new signage. So I'd now like to turn to the financial report. I'd start with the 2020 highlights. We have been the beneficiary of a donor that is giving us $500 monthly for the next 3 years. And so this past year, we received $6,000 from that generous donor for our programming. And the things that we have expended our resources on includes $1,200 in support of the archives at the Traverse Area District Library, $600 in support of the cemetery project that I just shared with you, $1,000 in supporting a new history of the history of the Traverse Area District Library that is exciting. It's in the process of being written, and we created a new policy to support local history publications, and the board decided to give its maximum amount to this history because of its importance to local history. We were also involved in giving modest financial support to the anniversary of the women's suffrage movement that was held at the open space. And we have also increased our expenditures for Michigan History Day. This is really a good news story because more of our middle school students are participating in the Michigan History Day, and more of them are being successful in being awarded movement to the state and to the national levels. And because of that, and due to our commitment to supporting those scholarships for those middle school students, because of their success, we've increased our support for them so that they can, so that we can help cover their registration fees and some of their travel fees going on to the national competition. While we are expending these revenues for these worthy projects, part of the financial report is that we have not received the kind of revenues that we have from 2019. And this, of course, is entirely understandable. Part of this is because we had to forego our walking tours for 2020 in the spring and summer due to the pandemic. We've also noted some lower membership revenues, and because, again, of the health situation, we have not been able to hold our programs in person, and therefore we have not been able to have as many opportunities to sell our publications. And so there have been some reductions in revenues because of that. On the other hand, we have not also expended what we would have expended, which was $1,000 for our Peter Till internships. Again, because of the health concerns, we felt it best not to have the archives opened during that normal time in the summer when we would have had Peter Till interns. But I can tell you that there is interest and continues to be interest among students. And so if it is safe for us to hold the Peter Till interns next summer, we will certainly do that for up to 2 interns for the summer. Because of less of our activities, we've of course had less administrative expenses, and that is reported here. The result is we've had a positive net income year to date of over $2,400. While this is less than our budget, it still shows that we are in the black when it comes to our resources. Our current bank accounts show a balance of $32,642.66. This is a combination of our general account of over $21,000 and our restricted Peter Till account of over $11,000. As we look to the 2021 budget, we do anticipate, hopefully, with the possibility of a vaccine and people's health being safe, then we will be able to look to resuming the walking tours next summer. We've carried over the $1,000 that we intend to spend on the Goodell Hitchcock project that I shared with you. We'll continue to make the $1,200 contribution to the Traverse Area District Library Archives, the $1,000 Peter Till internship program, and we will, of course, put additional funding aside for the Michigan History Day competition, anticipating that with its growth, we'll have more students take advantage of that. As far as the funding and our surpluses are concerned, we are continuing to accumulate funds to support the needed expansion of the archives at the library. We are pretty much at capacity when it comes to the space. And one of the things that we are working with the library on is the possibility of funding a grant or supporting the fundraising of the library to purchase additional shelving for the archives. If that is able to happen, we intend to use that surplus to help the library acquire that shelving. If it doesn't work out that way, we will certainly continue to look for other projects we will do to fund both the library and other projects as I've shared with you today. So for our proposed 2021 budget, the income shows anticipated book sales, membership dues, walking tours, our donations that continue to come in, funds that we will put aside to the Peter Till Fund, and the Community Foundation, which gives us annually about $1,300 And so we anticipate our proposed budget will bring in revenues of $13,650. Then looking at our expenses, we'll have the $1,000 for the work on the Goodell Hitchcock project, attended program expenses of $200, expenses for membership, that's largely to do with communicating to those members who do not have email. We'll continue to have the Peter Till expense of $1,000, the donation to Tattle of $1,200, the exhibits and collection storage, which we continue to, of course, have storage unit that is important for us to hold on to those items that we still need to. And then special events expenses, and then our administrative expenses, which you see there. At this point, we anticipate that our total expenses will be just over $9,800, which will result in a net income of a little over $3,800. So before I leave the financial report, I'd be glad to open it up to any questions that anyone has about the financial report. Since I've got it on the screen, so if people have particular questions, I can point to those. Well, certainly you are welcome to ask any questions later on. I just thought if you had anything specific, I'd try to answer them at this point. And so this is the part of the meeting that is, I consider, the most important, and that is to hear from you, our members. And so I would ask you that I think can members unmute themselves then? Please unmute yourself and share with us any thoughts or questions that you have about our society. So please.
I have no questions. You've done your usual admirable job, Stephen.
Thank you, Michael.
With all that, yeah. And I was on another Zoom call. That's why I was a little late getting here, and then turned on the camera. So we're of course very interested in what's going on with it. I was sorry I wasn't able to make my usual Traverse City trip this year. I'm in South Florida right now, and it. But we're hoping for next year.
Great, thank you.
Hello.
So I have a question in the chat. May a non-member speak? Absolutely. So I have a query from Reese Happenfuse. So if you would like to ask a question or make a comment, please do so.
I think he or she will be texting.
Great. Yes, the Peter Till internship. Yes, that is an internship that's offered in the summertime. We pay each intern $500. The library, along with the Historical Society, decides on which applicants are selected. As I said, we select up to 2 internships, and they work with the library and the Historical Society on working on the archives within the library, which is where the historical archives is kept.
Can I make a comment on that?
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, I'm a retired archivist, and usually I think it'll be me again. It involves some training. So a little bit of book reading, a little bit of training on my part, and background as to the to the archival profession, and then hands-on work with the material. And off the top of my head, I can't quite remember the number of hours, but I think it works out to about $12 an hour. So it's a few hours a week for several weeks during the summer. Okay.
Okay.
Hi, Stephen. This is Jenny Leclerc.
Hi,
calling.
Jenny.
I have a question for you. At some point, I know the library was attempting to obtain a grant to maintain formal care of the archives. Do you know where that stands?
I have some information. And that is that we had looked into that. The library was supportive of the grant, but then COVID came, and I think they are still exploring that grant to do that. But at this point, I think that they're still in the exploration period. I don't think they've actually filed any grant at this point. Does anyone else have any more information on that?
I don't have specific information on the grant, but myself and two other board members, Larry Haynes and Matt Grollo, will be meeting with Michelle Howard by Zoom on Monday and finding out more information about what their current plans are, what their near future plans are, and just making sure that, I mean, I know that they intend on supporting the archives, so we will be finding out more specific information about that in the very near future.
Thank you. It would be great if you could send out an email blast or something when you find out something.
Okay, good idea.
Great, thank you. So Carly, at the history of the Maritime Academy talk in last month was our first virtual event, and that event had 20 people on it. So that gives you some sense. And I would say that given the in-person meetings, programs, that's about a good average of what we normally have for in-person meetings. It sometimes is a little different. If there's a particularly popular event, we might have as many as 40. But I would say that generally speaking, we have in the neighborhood of 24 attendees for our programs.
And what's good too is that they can go to the YouTube channel, and I think there's 8 more views on there. So you can add that as 28 people actually going to the program. So it's nice. I wanted to show really quick, see if I can share the screen, just a really easy way to get to those recordings. So let me see really quick if I can. Okay, so if you go to our website at tattle.org, and over in the far right corner, you'll see the Facebook, and then I think that's Instagram, and the next one is YouTube. You can click on that, and it goes directly to our YouTube page. And then these are all of our programs of different things, and right here is the local history one. And you can click on that. Does that make sense?
That's wonderful.
So again, just go to our website, go way up here in the corner to YouTube, and then it'll take you right to our page. And the newest ones are usually on the top. And then there's a playlist for local history.
Betsy, I got a message that someone would like to make a comment who's on the phone. And I think we can open the phones somehow, you or Stephen, or maybe me.
Let me see. Let me unshare my screen. That's a new one for me, to be honest. I don't know how to open the phone.
Me too. Because I can see that they're there. I'm not sure.
It looks like I can ask to unmute.
Yeah, and I have her on text, so I'm gonna try to figure out.
Okay.
She could ask me her question.
Yay, something new every time.
I know.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. You're welcome to continue.
Yeah, I don't seem to be able to unmute the caller.
I'll see if she can send me her question as well, so.
Okay, that's great. Other questions from the members?
Well, I won't chat. I'll just ask this because it'll be faster. I'm wondering, I really enjoy the Facebook posts with all the photos all the time. It's great. Who handles the Facebook postings? Jen is smiling. Is that Jen?
No, but they're great.
They are great.
It's Larry right now, Larry Haynes. Peg has put a
Okay.
lot of work into them too.
Okay. I
Yeah.
was just wondering, even since I sort of was influenced by a board member to be present at the meeting today, I'm wondering if there could be more promotion for all of the events, like today's annual meeting or for the September event, weeks out in advance on Facebook. And I know it would be a wacky, crazy world, but Facebook advertising is also extremely inexpensive. If you wanted to, throw 10 or 20 bucks behind advertising events, it might be great just to drive some stronger awareness to both the Facebook page and the society and the events. So, 2 cents.
Good, thank you, Carly. And I would like to also introduce Brian Mccall, who is our vice president of the board. We did introductions at the very outset, Brian, so thank you for joining us, and thank you for having Carly join us as well.
I have the message from it's Susan Odgers, who's
Okay.
the vice. Yeah, she's the vice president of the Tattle board, and she wanted to say that she really enjoyed Jerry's program.
Oh,
And thanks to the society for the support for programs. So that was great. Thanks,
yes,
Susan.
and I'd like to then pass on also the thanks to the Tattle board for their support of us and in all the work that the library is doing to make it possible for our programs to be coming to all of you. So much thanks to Susan and the Tattle board.
Question for Tattle. I have Steve's Lincoln program edited. It was all ready to go, and finished it in mid-March, and then they wouldn't let me in over there at the television studio. So it's ready to go. Could that be taken and put on the web?
That question is for me. I think it has to go through maybe you guys first, and then it could. So that would be something that you can talk about, I guess. I'm not sure what program that was.
That was the, when did you give that, Steve? The link?
February.
February. It's a February program. I videotaped it, edited it over at the Cable Access channel, and finished it the last day I could be in the building. And I never was able to duplicate it, DVDs of it or anything, but I do have it on a hard drive.
Yeah, I'm not sure, to be honest. Maybe. Usually, let's see, so it's on a hard drive. Do you have it in a Google Drive at all? Or it's just like in a flash drive or?
On this thing.
done that. Okay. I can talk to the reference department and Michelle Howard. We can see for sure. It's a program that you did, Stephen, in February, you said?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, we can talk a little bit more about it and see if that's a possibility for sure.
It'd be nice to get the thing on for all this time.
Right, definitely. Yeah, we'll look into it.
Okay, thank you.
This is Rod Grollo, and I've not been to these meetings before, really, but I was curious to know whether you've considered videotaping the walking tour as a possibility and putting that on YouTube.
I'll turn that over to our program coordinator, Jen, because we have been talking about that, Rod. So
Yeah, we absolutely have. Sorry, I muted myself for a minute. And we've started recording, well, Jim has started recording some snippets of the cemetery tour, which is separate from our downtown tour. But we are looking into and thinking about filming a longer kind of segment of it. And that we have a virtual tour online already. It's not video. It is stopping and descriptions and photos, kind of in line with what our walking tour would be. But yes, I think certainly in these times that is something we are very interested in putting together.
I can give you a little update on what Peg and I did at the cemetery. We did videotape 3 or 4 of the segments on my cell phone. And then I was going to get some editing software and put on this computer. However, I found that my computer was too old and wouldn't accept it. So I have purchased a laptop for the purpose of doing this editing, and I still have to get it set up. So hopefully in another week or 2, I'll be able to do some work on this thing.
great, thank you, Jim.
Oh, Stephen, can you hear me? This is Mike Douglas.
Yes, Mike.
Oh, good. Are there any plans to display some of the artifacts and other historical things that you've been collecting over the years somehow? I have donated quite a few pictures and other little artifacts of the Spanish-American War that my grandpa was in. And when you moved out of the library, or the old library, they just went into storage somewhere. And I wonder if there's any chance of those things going on display again.
Well, we have been discussing that as well, because obviously we don't have a set location to do that. And you know, part of the reason we have the storage unit is basically we're kind of in a holding pattern as that goes. The History Center also had a series of banners on the history of the Grand Traverse region, and those banners, they're standing banners. We are also looking, you know, to discuss whether or not we can find places to also display them as well within our, you know, businesses and other community institutions. And so it is something that we are considering, but it's a matter of trying to determine where we might be able to find locations that are open to allowing for displays. And so that is something, Mike, that we are considering.
Can I comment on that?
Yes, Peg, go ahead.
Yeah, there are a couple of places in town that are either in the process of being built, or Horizon Books is one place where they're trying to decide how they're going to use that as a community center. And we have looked into just keeping tabs on those places, that they might be a place where we could have a corner or a section. And we've looked into how much it would cost to purchase secure display cases. in order to be able to display the few things that we actually have, some of which are yours, Mike's, that actually belong to the Historical Society. I think you know this, Mike, but what a lot of people don't quite understand is the majority of what they think of as the historical artifact collection does not belong to the Historical Society. It belongs to the city of Traverse City. And that is currently safe and secure, but not displayed anywhere. And we are keeping tabs and in communication with the city about their plans for that. But it's, to be honest, a little bit is slow like molasses. But we do know that that they are safe. They have not gotten rid of anything except for returning a few items to Native American tribes, which was exactly what they should have been doing from a professional point of view. So just that comment on the majority of the artifacts, we actually have no direct control over.
Yeah, Larry, I worked with Larry quite a bit over the last few years about that, about getting those articles there. And yeah, if anything did disappear at Grandpa's, I'm sure there'd be a rumbling in Oakwood Cemetery. And
I'm pretty sure your grandfather's things, which like most of them passed through my hands right as the Historical Society was
yeah,
going
I
through
remember.
that rough period, and I know exactly where they are.
Bert Gage would come after you.
Oh, well, he can rest easy.
Oh, I'll tell him.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks for telling that, Peg. That was informative.
Okay.
I do want to share with you an announcement that for the second year now, the Society has been selected to participate in the Shop Your Community Days, which is on November the 12th through the 14th. And so if you're going to look for your Christmas shopping or shopping for friends or family, please keep in mind to note that and participate in the Shop Your Community Days stores and businesses, and then designate us as the recipient of the funds that comes back through that program. It's another way that we can help to boost the resources of our society. So again, that's November 12th, 13th, and 14th.
Mm-hmm. I would like to say something else about programming while we're here with engaged members. We're always happy to look into ideas and for presenters and, you know, anyone you might know that might have a good presentation on local history topics. I do think there also can be a possibility here to work with the Human Rights Commission of Traverse City. I've recently been appointed, but discussed with a few of the members that I think we can work together on some programming too that might be of interest for a few different, you know, organizations.
So I've received a question in the chat about the subject of walking tours. Has the society considered resuming these, as I've seen other walking tours still happening downtown that are not associated with the Historical Society? We did discuss that at some length. And as far as our society was concerned, we felt that for the safety of our patrons as well as the tour guides themselves, that it was probably best to stay on the safe side and not engage in those programs until we're in a safer position. So that is why we decided not to resume the tours for the summer and the fall. And we will probably not resume them until next summer. And that will be provided on whether or not the situation is safe for us to do that. But good question, thank you.
I always talk in on this. Our two main tour guides that do most of the tours are both, well, one of them is me and I'm in my mid-60s and the other one is older than I am. So that was part of the reasoning in terms of the people we had doing the guiding.
I see Sharon Jennings. I see you right there. That's the person I send the money to. Yeah.
So does the members or any community members have other suggestions about the society in regards to programming, regards to particular directions that we are doing, anything, any other feedback that we have? Thank you, Carly, for your suggestion about the promotion. We'll certainly work on that as well. So are there other ideas that anyone has?
Well, to give a plug to someone there, Kristen Haynes wrote a book about the state hospital. It's just a little book, takes less than a day to read, but it's so informative. And so I purchased that from her, and I've been passing it around to people, because it's all the years I lived in Traverse City and never once went into the tunnels. And I really regret that I had a chance to, but never did it. But it's quite a trove of history, that whole hillside there, because I've been. Well, I remember everything. Remember the farms, the pickery, the whole thing from way back. So it was very interesting. So get a hold of Larry, and he'll get you some books if you're interested. I'm sure you'll get a hold of Larry. You talk to him every day, probably.
Thank you.
Hello. Hi, Mike. Thank you for sending me your money. Glad you're a member. And I just want to say, since I am the membership chairman and our membership is down a little because of our not being out with the public and, getting more people to join, that any of you that are members on this list or not members, please reach out to your friends that are interested in local history and, sell our group and what we do. We're the people that are preserving and presenting and the history of this wonderful community. And I think we're doing a really good job, and we sure appreciate all our loyal members that have stuck with us. We just need to get new members to join us. So if you know anybody that you think would be interested, let me know, and I'd be happy to send them a membership and encourage them to join. And because we really want to grow this important group, this important historical preservation that we do. So thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Sharon.
Hey, Steve?
Yes.
This is Jean Hurst.
Yes,
I've
Jean.
been trying to figure out how to unmute this. How do we get back into volunteering at the library? I don't know if it's possible or not.
Well,
I'm not sure. You would definitely, I think Peg is meeting with Michelle on Monday via Zoom.
Yeah.
Maybe ask her that question. It's a little bit different for each area of the library. So I'm not quite sure what they're doing, especially since that area is small. But have Peg ask on Monday to Michelle, and she'll probably have an answer.
Well, I was working on the police journals, and I broke my knee and had to have a replacement, but I haven't been able to get back in there. But there's a lot of mistakes yet, and I need to go through those books one by one.
Right, exactly.
Find them.
It's definitely the health concern, and I think Michelle just wants to make sure that everyone will be healthy in limiting the number of people who are coming in. But things change every day. So I think just posing the question that there's an interest of people needing and wanting to do that is a good thing. So hopefully she'll have an answer.
Yeah, Jeannie, I will ask
my number. Okay, thanks.
You're welcome.
Stephen, does Bill Rockwood assist you in the IT part of your the whole program?
You mean at the college?
At the
No,
library.
at the library.
I can't speak to that. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
No, he doesn't. If we have problems posting or something like that, he will. But for the most part, he's hands off. I mean, he's definitely there for support for sure. But Heather Brady, our marketing manager, she's the one usually once I get this downloaded, I send it to her and she edits and puts it together and puts it on YouTube as of right now.
Well, if you see Bill, tell him that Mike Douglas says hello. I've known him before he was born.
Oh, sure. I'll let him know.
The whole Nelson family. Yeah, thanks.
You're welcome.
Mary,
Can I pop in? Hi.
yes, please.
My name's Mary Gillette. I know several of you and others not. And I just popped in and of course popped in late and in black because I look like awful. But I convened the Northwest Michigan Arts and Culture Network, which is a grassroots effort for the 10 counties, and that is arts and culture. And I've also been the re-grant coordinator for Michigan Council for Arts and Cultural Affairs for the last, honestly, 12 years. And this is now under the umbrella of the Arts Network that mini grants and larger operational support and other grants are coming. Well, we manage the mini grant program, and this is all coming through Michigan Council for Arts and Cultural Affairs. So what I'd like to do is just kind of make you aware that we exist. I've talked to different people at different times about it, but I've had a hard time we struggle with our database. The network is a grassroots effort that started about 4 to 5 years ago. And really we became a 501c3 18 months ago when we took over the re-grant program. And with the pandemic, it's really kind of helped force this need to, as a network, we don't want to take away anybody's autonomy. Everybody does their own thing. And we do have other historical groups, Leland Historical, Kim Kelderhouse is on our board. For one, Julie Avery, also longtime academic, is not on the board, but was part of our creation. We are working to create awareness of arts and culture as a big tent within Northwest Michigan to raise greater awareness across the board, which in turn will hopefully create greater leverage, greater funding, or access to resources by working together when it makes sense. Nobody has any money. Nobody has enough money. Honestly, nobody has any money these days. And we're all doing a lot with very, very little, but our goal is to nurture the ecosystem so that we create an environment to help people connect, also offering some professional education and to be help with advocacy and be that kind of help, be a collective voice to work together. And we're also connecting with Heather Brady at Tattle as well with library related things. I know some of you from way back because I did used to help do fundraising and some grant writing and advocacy work with the Heritage Center when you were over there. So my background is eclectic, but it's been bubbling around the area for a long time. So again, if there's a way we could at least connect so that we could at least share information. The connections I used to have been long gone. And so I haven't had that. If you wanted to type some stuff in the chat, I will put my email in and also our website. I am the low bono staff of one. Most of it paid for by the re-grant work, but we have a good board. We have just started a membership campaign that is of the most nominal amount, $50 for an organization, $20 for individuals, but mostly we have really worked on augmenting our database to make sure that we are including as many people as possible and notifying of activities, notices, etc. and you've talked about trying to help publicize your things better. We would love to help with that, and vice versa. So I'm going to type my email in. Please, anybody feel free to get in touch. And somebody could send me your information. I'd be glad to get you into Salesforce and also kind of our e-newsletters as much as possible. So we've got a mailing list of about 500. And we do hit the 10 counties because that is the MCACA district. So Little Traverse, Grand Traverse, and what I call the Southern Tier, which is Manistee, Missaukee, and Wexford. And work with a lot of libraries, a lot of other cultural organizations. Would love to connect with you as well. So
Thank you, Mary. Any other comments or suggestions? All right, so the last item on our agenda today is for the election of board members. We are looking for the ballot. For those of you who are members, you saw that the ballot has 3 members of our board that are seeking re-election. I am personally grateful that all 3 of them are willing to continue on the board. And so as part of our bylaws, we have to have elections to do that. Some of you I know have already sent in your proxy ballots, and I appreciate that for all the members that have done that. Obviously, we are not going to be in a particular place to accept your ballots. And so I've been looking at the participant list, but it doesn't, I was going to suggest is that we would vote through the participant list, but I don't know, I have not been able to find that, and I don't know if, why that is. And I know many of you have your screens off. So what I am going to do is I am going to ask, since the chat is the only one that I think people have readily access to, is that I'm going to propose each candidate, and then I'm going to ask members to vote a yes for those that they want to vote yes on into the chat. In fact, I would probably say it would be easiest if each time when you put in your chat, you put in the 3 or 2 or 1 candidates that you would like to re-elect to the board. And they are, again, Matt Grollo, Jenny Loop, and Jim Warner. Okay? So if you could now enter into the chat those individuals that you wish to vote for, then we will tally those up, and then Jen can make note of the tally for the election. And
I have to ask what it is.
Sorry?
The chat.
The chat?
You said enter it into the chat?
Yeah, do you see, Jenny, do you see at the end, the bottom, there is where you have the mute button, the video button, the security, maybe you don't have security, but the chat.
Oh, it just came up.
So if you click on that chat, you will get a message. Or you.
I have that. That's all right. Don't worry. I never got any emails or anything about who was running anyway. I must not be on the correct list or something.
Oh, okay.
I'm a life member, so I should have gotten something.
Yes, you should, definitely should have. And that is good to know. So if you,
I'll give you a verbal
I'll-
favor of all of them.
yeah,
I'll look
okay.
I'll look into that with the email. I went through the list kind of individually before I sent it out, but I'll double check that for you, Jenny.
I seem to miss things quite frequently.
Is anyone having any other problems finding the chat?
Did mine come through? This is Jim.
No.
Not yet. I've got Peg, Matt, Tina, Brian, Sharon, Carly, Jen, myself.
There's a proxy.
Yep, okay, thank you, Sharon.
Okay, what I did I do it right? I click on Virginia LeClaire, the little blue box, print, tip that on and hit chat.
Yes, right. And then you need to, then in the two, there is, you have a choice to select, and you should probably go to everyone, or you can just send it to Jen as the secretary.
Yep, I already did that one.
Okay. Is there anyone else who would like to vote?
Yeah, I would, but I can't seem to get it to work.
Can we have
So-
people do like verbally? But
Yes, let's do that.
yeah, if you can't figure out the chat, and I've written down everyone who's in the chat, or at least, but yeah. I mean, even if you just go one down the line and ask their name, you know, if we know their members, you know, we could do that.
Yep, exactly.
Okay, this is Jim Warner. I'm voting for Matt, Jenny, and Jim. And
Okay,
Susan Warner, the same. Matt, Jenny, and Jim.
there you go. Thank you.
So who are we missing?
I don't know if we're missing anyone in particular.
All right.
So I think we can call the election good.
Yes.
Faster than, unfortunately, the national one will probably be. Well, again, I thank all the members. I thank you for reelecting Matt, Jenny, and Jim for the board. I appreciate that. I appreciate them willing to serve, and I appreciate your support for them and having them serve. If there are any questions or any further comments before we adjourn our meeting, is there anyone that would like to make any closing comments?
I'd just like to say, good job, Joy and Jeannie, for making it on with us. Good to see your faces.
Yeah, absolutely right.
Yeah, just try to get us to do it next year.
Yeah. Well, and again, I want to thank the Traverse Area District Library for their support. Again, this could not have happened without their support, so thank you very much for that. And if there isn't anything further, I wish you all a very good day, and keep an eye out for our next programs as they are announced. So thank you all very much, and have a good rest of your day.